Esports is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. With players getting better and better, some use their skills to compete at the highest level, some to teach others how to get good, and some use their skills to cheat.
Did Emilio just get VAC banned?
What?
What?
Throughout the history of esports, there have been numerous scandals involving professional players, with boosting and hacking being the most common issues. While in the Western scene, players with a stained history have been able to redeem themselves, in Korea, the story has been a bit different.
온라인 게임의 대명사인 스타크래프트에서 돈을 받고 경기를 져주는 승부 조작 사건이 적발됐습니다.
오히려 일반 게임 이용자들의 반발을 더 키우고 있다는 지적도 나오고 있습니다.
별 생각 없이 계정을 공유했으나 이는 게임 생태계를 저해한 잘못된 행동입니다. 이에 대해서는 다시 한번 국민 여러분께 사과드립니다.
While gaming may seem like an outlier hobby in North America, esports is seen as a legitimate career path for teens in Korea. This trend started in the 1990s with the introduction of the PC Bang, which was originally introduced as a place for young people to study, hang out, and most importantly, play games with friends. Seeing the popularity of the PC Bang, companies began investing in esports, establishing high-profile tournaments and leagues for titles like StarCraft, and televising some of the biggest matches on Korean television. As professional gaming began to blossom in the rest of the world, Korea had already been embracing video games for 10 plus years, which is why today, Korea is seen as one of the most developed regions for esports. With a culture that respects gaming, along with government agencies that regulate the industry, esports is taken very seriously in Korea, with legal implications for those who decide to cheat. In the West, when making an account for Riot or Blizzard, you're asked to input basic information like your email, your birthday, a username, and a password. However, accounts in Korea are much more secure and are linked directly to a player's social security number. This means that any sort of account sharing in Korea has real-life ramifications for the users. Take, for example, Ryu Ho-jung, a politician and member of South Korea's Justice Party. 6 years ago, she was removed from her position as the chairwoman of the esports club at her women's university, when it came to light that her League of Legends account had been boosted from Gold 5 to Diamond 1. Since then, she's entered politics, and this year, she was nominated to be the Justice Party's representative in the Korean National Assembly. However, when the allegations of her account boosting resurfaced in March of this year, Ryu Ho-jung faced heavy criticism from her political opponents, calling her untrustworthy and suggesting that she step down from her position in the party. In the West, something as benign as account boosting would probably be brushed aside as a lame way to make yourself look better. But in Korea, it's a legal issue that can and will directly affect your life. Hwang Hee-dong, a National Assemblyman representative of the Democratic Party of Korea, said, quote, "The issue of getting boosted in League of Legends is a very serious issue. Dopa, a well-known player within the LoL community, was stripped of his title as a professional player and had his account permanently banned. So it's just like having someone else take an exam for you." And for the record, Hwang Hee-do isn't just some politician looking for dirt on his opponent. He was a professional StarCraft player and remains an avid gamer to this day. When it comes to professional players, being punished by their own teams or reprimanded by the league itself does not shield players from the criticism of fans and fellow players. This was the case for Soomin Kim, better known as Sado, who was a tank player for the Philadelphia Fusion in the Overwatch League. After being accused of boosting, Sado was barred from competing in the preseason as well as the first 30 games of the regular season, rendering him inactive for 75% of the year. While many in the West believe that it was a fair punishment considering the circumstances, many in Korea were disappointed and upset by the decision. They believed that the punishment was nowhere near severe enough and that Sado should have been permanently banned from competitive play. Along with that, Sado's Korean teammates at the time, DPS player Carpe and tank player Hotba, also received criticism, suggesting that they were sticking up for their disgraced teammate. Outside of their fans, Sado also faced a lot of criticism from fellow Korean players, most notably Dallas Fuel's DPS, Effect. In a series of tweets, Effect expressed his frustrations towards the situation, saying, quote, "I have no idea how much I practiced in order to become a pro. Now I feel like I could have made it here easily by succeeding at boosting instead. Is this going to become a boosters league? To say the least, the Fusion were not very popular in Korea in the first season of the Overwatch League. While Sado has been the most prominent case in the Overwatch League, there have been other situations as well, such as when former Dallas Fuel player Minseok OGE's son was suspended for 4 games as a result of past incidents with account sharing. This time around, controversy struck when Korean casters avoided saying OGE's name during broadcasts, a decision that was ridiculed by the Western audience along with former commentator Monte Cristo.
You are not responsible for the league's decisions to include these boosters, but as a caster, say the fucking players' names. Don't pander to InVen or whoever is criticizing you on these players on social media. They are in the league. The fans can get over it. That's the decision that has been made by the league itself.
What these examples illustrate is the wildly different reactions between Korea and the West. In the early days of competitive League of Legends, many pro players like Nijaki and Aframu engaged in elo boosting, and outside of receiving 14-day account bans, these players were able to continue their careers with no lasting damage. The somewhat lax attitude towards account sharing has resulted in boosting remaining popular in the Western scene.
MMR boosting, oh. I'm not really sure when I boosted, but okay.
Because it's suspended for MMR boosting. I don't think he went on other accounts.
One of the more extreme examples of boosting comes from Nicholas Jensen. Known as Incarnation or Vaygod in early 2013, he, along with 2 teammates, were banned for their history of toxicity. In the case of Jensen, his violations included publicly admitting to carrying out a series of DDoS attacks on other high elo players. As such, Jensen was suspended indefinitely from competing in any Riot-affiliated tournaments. But it wasn't long before all was forgiven, as Jensen was unbanned by Riot in 2015 and would join Cloud9 soon after. The rest is history, and Jensen continues to be one of the star players in the LCS today. But while Jensen was able to revive his League of Legends career with no lasting ramifications, it's safe to say that most Korean players wouldn't have had the same luck. Ultimately, it speaks to the vast cultural differences between Korea and Western countries, but it's also a result of the growth that Korea has gone through as an esports scene. For example, Korea currently has laws in place that bans the creation and distribution of programs that are in violation of a game company's terms of service. The law effectively prohibits hacks like aimbots due to the fact that they negatively impact both the integrity of the game as well as the profits of the developers. Any person caught breaking this law could be sentenced to up to 5 years in prison or $43,000 in fines. While there have been some major events like the iBuyPower match-fixing scandal in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Western countries have been comparatively mild when handing out punishments.
Up for him. What is he doing? Why did he hesitate so much? Doesn't matter, has the CZ, gets one, gets taken.
Gamers in Western cultures may find Korea's laws on all these different issues to be a little bit too severe, while Koreans may find laws in Western cultures a little bit too relaxed. Which side do you think is right? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thanks to everyone on this list, and a shout out to Arknox, Sammy, Shampoo, Weeaboo, Nathan, Nate, and Mauve for being Platinum supporters, as well as a special shout out to Rafi for being our Diamond supporter. Thanks for believing in us. We really appreciate it. If you also want to support our channel and unlock some perks, check out the Patreon link in the description below, or become a member of our Discord community. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah, thanks for watching.